talking about ThunderCats, the cartoon. It's coming back. We're excited to hear about it. Can you tell me about your role?
Well, I play the fierce Cheetara, and she kicks some butt. She kicks some butt in ThunderCats. It's pretty great. It's the fearsome threesome, really. I mean, Lion-O, Tigra, Cheetara, all the other characters. It's pretty true to the original, and I think the fans will be very impressed.
Were you a fan of the original cartoon?
I didn't watch the original cartoon. I really wanted to be a part of this just due to, when I read it, I just was like, oh, this is great. And then kind of learned about it as I started doing it, and I was like, whoa, I am part of something epic and a part of history, cartoon history. Kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now you voice talent for Cheetara, who's really quick. Did that come into play when you made your choices and how you delivered your lines?
Do you know, I would love to sit here and say that there was so much thought behind it. I think that Andrea Romano, she's our director, and she heard my voice, and Cheetara is very similar to my own. The only thing that we really worked on was just making her just a little more cold, a little more fierce, not quite as warm. Those were the things we were working on character-wise.
I've always wondered, in the old one it wasn't played up much, but this new series, is Cheetara more a love interest for Lion-O?
She's, it's not even so much that she's a love interest. Lion-O has a bit of a crush on her. She's, she ends up with someone else. Gee, I wonder who that is. She plays heavily in the series, for sure. It's much more, from what I'm told, than the original.
Great. I got one more question. Can you just tell me your opinion of Snarf?
It's like the cutest character ever. It's pretty great. Pretty unique character. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, too.
Tim here. I'm here with Ethan Spaulding, producer for the new ThunderCats cartoon. Ethan, how's Comic-Con treating you so far?
Great so far. We just did a signing and made our way through the sea of people. It's so crowded. So
I saw your guys' picture on the bags. It's all over the place. People are really excited. Great way to get buzz for the show.
Yeah, I think it's great seeing that floating around the floor, seeing the big banners with the sword on it, people wearing the ThunderCats shirt. So I think the buzz is out there. So
I'm sure there's an obvious answer, but a fan of the original?
Big fan, yeah. Grew up watching it in '85. It's like 25 years ago, almost 26 years ago.
So awesome. I love the show myself. And how does it feel working on something you used to watch?
Yeah, it's very surreal. If you stop and think about it, we grew up watching this, and now we're actually have a hand in creating another version of that great show. It's really surreal, but awesome at the same time.
So how much of the original program, like aspects, are incorporated in? I heard a big change is Snarf doesn't talk.
Yeah, Snarf doesn't talk. Snarf will speak, in animal, like cat-like alien sounds, much like Chewbacca or R2-D2. Lion-O understands Snarf, even though the audience won't necessarily hear him speaking English, so it's cool.
Other big changes, do we stick with the original weapons?
The original weapons are still there. One of the biggest changes is Third Earth and Thundera. It's like our whole story takes place on Third Earth, and Thundera is just the kingdom that they reside on, the ThunderCats. So it's not a planet anymore. So that's a big change.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a really big change. What decision went into? Did you guys keep the oath, ThunderCats Ho? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
we have to keep that. So that's in there.
Isn't that awesome to have something so iconic be able to be in your show?
Yeah, I think it is, and that's one of the things that from the beginning we decided to keep that in the show. Because there were previous incarnations of this project where that wasn't in it. So. But we took what they did in the original, and we decided what we can use, and most of it we can use. You know, it's awesome stuff. So we're just rearranging the format a little bit.
Okay, so your guys' show is going to be awesome, and you're going to get a couple, lots of more seasons. Are we going to see, like the original show, will Snarfer show up? Will Mammut maybe be making an appearance? Are there plans in works in bringing the other ThunderCats like Linkso back?
Yeah, Linkso's in it. You know, that we've taken these characters, and you know, where they're going to pop up is not where they popped up in the original show. So I would say maybe not Snarfer, you know, but the other ones, yeah, I think.
So Mammut confirmed.
Mammut. We had in one of the stories we had a Mammut version. It didn't come to fruition, but you know, that idea is still out there. So you might see him, an incarnation, a cooler Mammut. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being in the Media Junkyard.
Awesome.
Thanks. Tim here with Michael Jellinek, producer of the new ThunderCats. How's Comic-Con treating you?
Oh, it's crazy. Every year it's crazy. So it's just, you know, try not to get overwhelmed by all the people, but it's always awesome to see all the things you love and all that nerd stuff in one spot.
Well, we're really excited to see the new ThunderCats. Big fan of the original. Are you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a kid right around that time, and one of my earliest memories is fighting over one of the Lion-O toys with one of my friends. So it's funny that now I'm part of this rebranding of the new show.
Lion-O has all the abilities and everything he had in the old cartoon, like the cat's claw and the Sword of Omens.
Well, he definitely has the cat's claw and the Sword of Omens. I think one thing that was pretty cool in the old show was, like, every episode the Sword would do something new to get him out of a situation. We're not necessarily going to go down that route. He's going to have the sword, and the sword, you know, it's going to be a weapon that he has to learn how to use, and he's going to have to learn how to figure out its various powers, but it's going to feel very similar to the old show.
Okay, I got to ask one more thing. Panthros tank.
Yes.
Is it in the show?
Thunder Tank.
Thunder Tank.
Of course the Thunder Tank. It's not ThunderCats without the Thunder Tank. And I'll just say, it doesn't show up immediately, but when it shows up, and when Panthros shows up, it is the best thing you can imagine. So all Panthro fans will be very excited at that moment. It's awesome.
And Mumra. The cast of villains. I haven't heard about this yet, but is Jackalman, Vulture Man? Are we going to see them as well?
Everybody you sort of loved from the old show will be in this show. So, you know, the only thing is we're not going to necessarily bring them all up front. So it may take a few episodes to get to Jackalman or you know, Vulture Man. But Mumra is right up there, right from the beginning. You know, one of the best villains of all time. Certainly, probably the most intimidating, the scary villain from the '80s. And he's just as scary in this thing. And you know, Slythe is also, you know, he's right up with the you know, Mumra right in the beginning. So the villains are great in this, and you know, we really wanted to make them serious threats, not so much comic relief, which sometimes they were in the old show, but it's great. Yeah, those characters I think people are going to be really happy with.
I heard Thundera is a kingdom and not a planet in this series. So will the ThunderCats be trying to get back or to Thundera? Are they lost?
Well, if you remember in the old show, it starts out, Thundera is destroyed. They're forced to go into a new sort of planet and survive. That's where they meet Mumra. In this one, we simplify things a little bit. One of the things we wanted to do was to have the cats not or exposed to any technology in the beginning. So we couldn't really do a spaceship flying from Thundera to another planet. So instead, we decided, let's start everything on Third Earth. Thundera is a kingdom on Third Earth, and in the course of the pilot and the first 2 episodes, we see Thundera is destroyed, very similar to what happens in the original show, and those characters are expelled from a destroyed Thundera, and they're up against Mumra. So even though we took some liberties with that original mythology, it still feels the same, and it's still going for the same themes.
Great, and I know Snarf doesn't talk. Is he kind of like a pet then?
He's very much a pet. He's still comic relief in this series, but he's just about the cutest thing. He reminds me of Gizmo from the Gremlins, and he's got that kind of cute factor going for him. So he still says Snarf occasionally, but you won't hear him sound like Lino's grandmother in this one, which may or may not be a good or bad thing. I don't know yet.
He's good to eat after midnight, though, right?
Exactly. You could eat as much as you want. Water is fine with, so he's even better than Gizmo.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Great.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm here with Dan Norton, art director for the new ThunderCats television show. It looks great. Everything I've seen, I see it on the bags out on the floor.
Nice.
It's looking great. Tell me, how much were you inspired by the old series?
Oh, completely. It's ThunderCats, really made my childhood back in the day. I really like to think that the old show was kind of like the anvil that I bent my creative stick on. I mean, it just inspired me so much. So to get a chance to do this, it's amazing. Yeah.
So just looking at it, some character changes. Lino's much thinner, smaller guy than he was in the original series. Why go with that decision?
Well, the convention of the old show was really Lino being a child, and then magically through his cryo chamber being damaged, he becomes a man, but he's still a child. And that really symbolized to us the growth of a boy becoming a man. It's his journey. And while that convention was interesting, we really wanted to adhere to that, but make it a little more of a progression age-wise. And we'll see him start out, and we can grow with him. So he will get older, but we want you to see him as what he's supposed to be, which is a boy becoming a man.
How do you guys go about conceptualizing Third Earth exactly, the terrains and everything?
Sure. Well, when we start out, I wanted to give a familiar feel, but still it's a fantasy forest. But really, as we explore, as the ThunderCats leave or kind of pushed out of their home world, they're kind of growing too. And some of this stuff is really unfamiliar to them. So we took off the shackles, and as the ThunderCats progress, the world kind of evolves with them. So we get a kind of wonderland feel. Plants aren't the same plants that they're used to. Animals, we really get a sense of exploration. And we wanted to keep it really vast and epic. So scale was really important. We just wanted to really explore and make it kind of different. It's going to be Christmas. Every week you're going to get a new Christmas present of something strange.
So awesome. Yeah, I used to play with my Lino action figure when I was a kid with that karate chop action, but of course in the Sword of Omens. You got to have that. Love it. What about the cat symbol? Is that still a part of the show?
It is still a part of the show, and I know a lot of people are kind of concerned, where is it? It's not on the characters. There's a story behind it, and part of what we want to do with this show is everything is earned. It's not just given. So what's familiar will be in the show, but it's a slow burn. So we want you to stick around to find out why that works the way it works, or what, the very question that we led you to, there's an answer. You'll just have to go with us. Yeah.
And the show's fun for all ages?
I think so. I mean, if you're 3, maybe not. But I think for the most part, the Thunder Dads and the Thunder Moms are going to love it, and they're going to take their kids and they're going to put them on their knee, and they're going to watch it, and they're going to, I think what's great about the old school fans who really remember it, they're going to watch this new show, and they're going to be like, oh, I remember that guy. He did this. I mean, some people can't remember it completely, but they may, and if they do, they're going to be like, oh, in the old show, son or daughter, this is how it was. And now we can see how this new thing is, and it's a shared experience. So it gives them something to talk about. It's kind of fun like that.
Well, we look forward to seeing it. Thank you for speaking with us.
Yeah, absolutely. What a pleasure.
It is my honor to speak with Larry Kenney, original voice of Lino for the original 1980 series, ThunderCats.
Well, thank you, Tim. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. And I hear you have a role in this series.
Yeah, I got the part. I'm really excited. And my part is not Lionel this time. That's Will Friedle, who's fantastic. But I am playing Lionel's father, Claudius, in the new series.
And what, as Lionel's dad, I'm sure he learned a lot from him. What exactly do you pass down to him?
Well, I've learned that now playing Lionel's father, that Lionel needed his butt kicked once in a while. When I was playing Lionel, I couldn't understand why his father was getting such a hard time, because I was just playing a cocky, sassy young kid. But now I'm playing the father, and as in real life, the father has to, make sure that the son is going to grow up to be a man. And in this case, in particular, he has to grow up and stand up and become the Lord of the ThunderCats. So he's got a lot of work to do with this kid.
And how do you think Will did in filling in your role?
Will's fantastic. I love the fact that from what I've seen so far, in fact, Will and I have been emailing each other back and forth, and I told him, I said, you've made Lionel a little cockier, a little more of a smart aleck. And I love that. I love what you've done with that character.
What do you think, your buddy Snarf, what do you think of him in this new version?
Well, I haven't seen too much of the animation yet that with Snarf in it.
I heard they limited his speech.
I think he doesn't speak anymore. I think he just snarfs. Snarf, snarf, snarf. And somehow they understand that. Again, I haven't seen that much more of the show, the new show, than you guys have. So I'm anxious to go out and see it. I'm anxious for next Friday, July 29th, 8 p.m., 7 Central, and the premiere of the new ThunderCats series on Cartoon Network. As a plug.
Oh, yes, excellent. We of course will be watching. We're gonna try to get in the panel and see it ourselves, and I know everyone here is gonna be watching too. Before I end, I'm gonna have to ask: Can you give our audience a ThunderCats ho?
Oh, certainly. I don't have the Sword of Omens with me, but I can. We'll pretend my arm is the sword as I say, thunder, thunder, ThunderCats, ho!
So awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
It was a pleasure.
Nice to see you. Thank you.